This is Sunday Market Outlook. It is November 24th, 2024. And we got Mr. Badal in the building as well as first timer here, Mr. John Legarreta. So super excited to have everybody here as well as anybody watching this recording. And with that said, let's get things underway. Brent, appreciate you, bro, and everything you do. Let's get it cracking.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's talk about some news. We have a very interesting week, at least here in the States, right? I know we have an international team, so you guys are like, so what's happening this week, right? But here in the States, we have a lot going on, and it really makes things interesting, which you guys know that I like the interesting side of things, right? I like it when it gets a little bit spicy here. So we are going to look at what we have for the week when it comes to news. So always, as every single week, I tell you guys, don't fall for the smoke of the news. I don't care if the news is going to say something good or bad. That's not a decision making if I'm going to buy or sell. The charts are the charts. We go off that, okay? But it's important to know what time is happening, what type of impulse, what type of news. So let's make sure that we go ahead and pay attention for that, all right? Now, when it comes to tomorrow, pretty chill. We don't have much going on, right? As far as the dollar, because the majority of us here are gold and NAS, at least Rich and I are definitely in the NAS side of things. Obviously, we have here Mr. John Legarreta, and he's been really great on the forex side of things and the forex majors, minors, setting great tap to trades, trade alerts. Love it already. Same thing. So the USD is really going to be the main focus, right? So nothing really tomorrow. Tuesday gets interesting. So Tuesday we have consumer confidence, we have new home sales, Richmond manufacturing. So we have three really completely separate sets of news all happening at the same time. And it's kind of a weird time. Typically, I like it when it happens a little bit earlier, right? Around that 7:30 Central Standard Time is when I like news because the market likes to impulse at that time, regardless, at least for gold and gas. So I like when we have news at that time. Two is going to be a little bit weird. So we have the 7:30 normal kind of impulse that it does. 8 o'clock, we have the S&P Composite 20. So this one is actually interesting. We shouldn't see a big move that we should be worried about in that sense, but let's pay attention to what it does to NAS. Really any indices, but I like looking at the S&P side of things, the composite, that the 10-year bonds, 20-year bonds. Those really help to see the movement as far as where is NAS wanting to trend towards, right? What's the long-term play for a lot of people that are using NAS as their actual like 401ks, mutual bonds, things of that nature, right? Long-term plays. So if you, especially if you're a swing trader, this is a news that you want to look towards. Not that you're trading it, but you want to see the information, what it does, what's the aftermath of that. Then we have our opening bell at 8:30. Then 9 o'clock is when we have this. So consumer confidence, new home sales, Richmond manufacturing, consumer confidence. What are people spending? Are they spending? Are they not spending? Especially now that we're already in this Black Friday mode this whole entire week. Shout out to NBC. Shout out to akashx. Already, we started out since Friday. We started our Black Fridays, and a lot of people are doing that now in the retail side, right? Black Friday already started. Back in the day, if you remember the good old days, we had to go midnight, get outside in the cold, outside of the store, waiting for the deals, right? And elbow somebody for a toaster. It's not like that anymore. Everything now is early at the week before. So we're gonna see already what's that looking like. Then we have new home sales. That's obviously something that's going to indicate towards recession, and then Richmond manufacturing as far as worlds. So we have three different worlds completely here. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. If you trade odd, if you trade NZD, then you're going to want to pay attention to that day too, as far as Tuesdays. Wednesday. Wednesday, I think it's going to be a pretty crazy day. So Wednesday, 7:30, great time. Love it. But look at all of the news that we have happening. Again, it's kind of a weird day. We have a lot of different types of news crammed into the same time. Unemployment claims, love trading unemployment claims. We've been speaking about this since the beginning of the year. If you go back and you watch these videos, unemployment claims was typically yellow to orange. And we've been saying it, Rich and I, like, hey, it's going to get every time unemployment is going to get interesting, it's going to become a CPI, a PPI, and we could see now that it's just that. It's a red flag folder. The moment we see unemployment claims, it hits, it moves up or down. So happy for that. And we have a lot of other type of news happening at 7:30. Great time. 8:30 opening bell, 8:45 Chicago PMI, 9 o'clock core PCE, pending home sales, personal income, personal spending. Those two are yellow, but pay attention to what happens. Pay attention to those numbers. Those are important as well right now. Economy, recession, all that good stuff. It's very important to see where that is. So very packed Wednesday for sure. And then 1 o'clock FOMC meeting minutes. You don't know what meeting minutes is. They're just going over what was said the last meeting. It's not that there's nothing new said, but it's just what was said on those last ones, getting ready for the next one. Packed Wednesday. Thursday.
Hey, Brent.
Yeah.
So sorry, bro. It's just I heard it on my end as well as multiple people in the chat. Your volume was good, but it like I don't know if you went away from the mic. It's just like it went really low and then it went higher.
I don't
So I
know
just
what's
wanted to give you the heads up.
I
Didn't mean
think
to interrupt you, bro.
I think it's something to happen with the Zoom, bro. This has happened on a couple Zooms now. Thankfully, it's not happening on akashx Live. I need to figure out what's going on with Zoom. So,
We still hear you though, but I just wanted to see if you knew. Okay.
yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you. I thought I had moved stuff, so I guess I didn't move it right. I moved some stuff, but obviously not the right stuff. But all right, so Thursday, we have our bank holiday, but still pay attention, guys, for Thursday. Between Thursday and Friday, it's a very important move, Thursday and Friday. Technically, it's like Black Friday. Most of, again, not a financial advisor, not telling you, not a magician, right? A lot of people say I am, but I'm not. Now, Thursday, Friday, typically we see the Black Friday move. So it tends to drop. Gold drops, indices drop, cryptos take a heavy, heavy drop between Thursday and Friday for that Black Friday move. Who knows what's going to happen? Pay attention to it. Obviously, be ready for it. Set your stop losses. But Thursday, Friday is still an interesting day to trade. I don't just completely stop. I'm very tentative, waiting for that move for it to drop to be able to grab it at a good price, right? It's like a Black Friday. You're going to rush to the store to get a good deal, right? So most likely we're going to see really good deals on cryptos, really good deals as far as maybe taking some swing trades on gold, on NAS, things of that nature. Because gold specifically, every year it likes to go bullish at that December, January time. It doesn't always happen, but if you look at the last 10 years, at least 8 of them, you'll see that always trend up, bullish trend for December, January. That might happen again. So this is why you want to see that dip and you want to grab that dip, right? So it's completely on what you're doing. I'm not giving you advice on what to do, but I feel this is a perfect reason, especially in Bitcoin right now, where it's at, to have that big reversal, to have that big drop. Same thing for gold, to have that big dip for us to get in at a good price, right? Get a good deal, get a good sell. Pay attention to that. Be ready for that. This is a lot of times creeps up on a lot of beginners because you're just confident, like, oh, I've been here for 2, 3 months. Every time I see a bank holiday, nothing happens. And next thing you know, you look over and that Thursday, Friday, you're seeing two huge candles. So just be ready for it, okay? And that's it. That's it for the news. We end the week at that. So just make sure you're following your trading plans. Don't worry about nothing. We're having a great time and we're going to have good news, a lot of craziness. I'll be going live every single day. Even Thursday, I'll be live. I know it's Thanksgiving here in the States, but we have a ton of people again that are international. So I'll be running my normal session at that time. Market closed or open, it doesn't matter. We're here to provide you guys a service. So I will be live on Thursday. And yeah, that's it. Pass it back to you, Rich.
Alrighty, man. Sounds good. Sounds good. So we're gonna go ahead and get straight into some market analysis now, guys. Obviously, I know I have a NAS alert that is in drawdown currently right now, so we'll get towards the end into NAS. But I wanted to just open up the floor right away for John to touch up on some of the stuff that he trades, because from what I've seen, just having conversations with him over the years and even now seeing his first couple taps of trades and everything, I think you guys can see that John has a very like he really follows the FX side of things, right? Looking at FX pairs more than anything. And that's an area that me and Brent have really not touched at all. Since we've been in akashx all these years, we've kind of just stuck to the pairs that we've traded. And so I'm sure a lot of people either have been curious about the FX markets or feel like there's more opportunity on the table there. And you never know, guys. Maybe gold isn't for you. Maybe NAS isn't even for you. And John can come in here and really show you guys some cool things on the FX side. So with that said, man, I'm going to let John take over here and do his analysis. You should be able to share screen and everything, bro. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, for sure. Am I good? Can you hear me?
Perfect, bro.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and get into it. Everybody should be able to see my screen. Rich, just let me know if they're able to see it.
Yes, sir. You're good to go.
Yes. All right, awesome. So with that being said, guys, going into the week, whether you do trade NAS or you do trade gold or you trade forex, specifically myself, and I know many other traders, they always do go ahead and have a weekly prep, just like Brent was walking you guys through the weekly forecast for Forex Factory, and he's letting you know this is what I'm expecting on Tuesday, on Wednesday, when this comes out, when that comes out. Maybe I'm not expecting anything, but I'm anticipating, or I'm at least aware that there's red folder news, so I may or may not trade. But you got to go into each week with a very strong sense of anticipation. You got to go into each week with a very strong sense of awareness. So my biggest thing for you guys going into any single week is, come prepared. Okay, you gotta come prepared. And me, specifically with Forex, I do have a multitude of different assets that I do trade. If you guys look at the right-hand side, you will see that these pairs, they're color coordinated because of, the correlating pairs. So the CAD CHF, Euro CHF, GBP CHF, NDD CHF, these different pairs, they do correlate. So I mark them up as green. Same exact thing for the cross USD pair. So EU, GU, AU, NU, right? They correlate on a positive note. And so with that being said, I color coordinated them blue. And so with that being said, come into every single week prepared. And the reason I say that is not to just tell you this, but to take away a lot of the guesswork. So when I do sit down to be able to trade the New York session, hypothetically, let's say for Euro USD, I want to let you guys know that when market or price does get into a specific sensitive range, into a specific zone, I don't have to be like, oh, wait, let me mark this up. Oh, wait, let me try to double think about this, or I don't have this set up yet. Let me see what this looks like. I like going into each trading session with everything already marked up. So when I sit down, the only thing that I'm specifically doing, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm just making a very strong decision. I see prices getting here. Hey, I might take that trade right away because of the way that it looks, or I might wait for the next candle closure and then go ahead and wait for that confirmation and then take the trade. So my decision making has improved drastically because of the fact that every single session, since everything's already pre-marked up for me, I have time to think and I have time to go ahead and make better quality decisions. And those better quality decisions, they do lead to a positive net outcome. So that's one of the first things I wanted to go ahead and touch up on. It's not necessarily technical analysis, but to let you guys know, being prepared is one of like the most underrated things you guys can go ahead and look at when starting off the week. With that being said, if you are trading Forex or even maybe NAS or gold, one of the main things you do want to have obviously marked up is the DXY. DXY is a US dollar index. And obviously it's, the strength of the currency US dollar. And so with that being said, we can see the US dollar index has drastically been pushing to the upside, creating higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. Now, obviously, took a massive dip. We're going to have to wait and see maybe till Monday morning, see what price wants to do. Maybe I won't send out a trade or take a trade until then, but we can see that price is pushing down. Now, if price does want to go ahead and start breaking this specific level at 105.72 and break this specific area of liquidity, at that point, we do know the DXY is reversing, starting to push down. And as you guys know, if the DXY is bearish, USD CHF, USD CAD will be bearish. If price does create another higher low, failing to break 106.10, right where I have my actual cursor, 106.10, 106.08, if it doesn't fail, if it fails to break this and creates that higher low and we still see that push to the upside, then what could we expect? We can easily expect continued EU, GU, AU, NU pushes to the downside, and of course USD CHF and USD CAD push to the upside. So the DXY, if you have this marked up, this one specific thing that you are marking up will give you a plethora of different answers for a multitude of different pairs. It will help you outline USD CAD, USD CHF, and the cross USD pairs. So one thing you always want to make sure if you are trading Forex is to have that DXY marked up. As I continue, I don't see really much for the CHF pairs. I do trade the CHF pairs very heavily, but the last few weeks, guys, they have just been very choppy. A lot of wicks to the upside, a lot of wicks to the downside. It hasn't been the smoothest, so I've pretty much stayed away from these different assets, and I've been very focused on the cross USD pairs. One thing I do want to make note of is right now this is my third year trading. And one thing I need to tell you is during this holiday season, price tends to trend very aggressively. A lot of people, they are continuation traders, and there are some traders that are reversal traders like myself. And so when we get into this specific market cycle, instead of looking for massive reversals in very sensitive areas of supply and demand or support and resistance, I'm looking for different entry models with smart money concepts, it being order blocks, breaker blocks, vacuum blocks. I'm looking for continuation type entry models where I will go ahead and start trading with the trend. You guys were able to see this past week, all the gold traders, part of akashx, they were sending out gold buys, right? Like Brent, and they were ripping, trading with the trend, nothing crazy. They were ripping 100 pip, moves, 200 pip moves. It was absolutely insane. I know sometimes Brent was catching that reversal, and he was very good with this since he is a scalper. But with that being said, pay attention to how the market is actually trending. Is it trending aggressive? Is it reversing a lot after the 3 years of trading during this holiday season? I've seen from personal experience the market is trending very aggressive. So if you guys do see any taps from me or any trade alerts, they will mainly be trend continuation alerts. Right now, it's too early on in the week to be able to tell, hey, are we going to keep pushing further down? Are we going to go ahead and keep pushing further up? I have to wait for the market to kind of sit in a little bit. And then from that point on, I will go ahead and see what's best in order for the market to, be able to buy or sell off. Here's one thing I can tell you and one thing I do want to share with you before I pass it back to Rich. On EU, GU, AU, NU, you will come to see, this is the last thing I go over, but please pay attention. It is a very good entry model for smart money concepts. Okay, here it is. Between the weekend and since the market opened, the market did go ahead and create not a very large gap, but a pretty significant gap of about 40 pips. I mean, give or take, depending on the pairs. Some pairs move slower, some pairs move quicker, but there was a 40 pip gap that actually ended up taking place on the cross USD pairs and the USD based pairs like USD CHF, USD CAD. You guys are able to see on EU that we do have the gap from this specific candle right here at 104.18 over into 104.78. If I go ahead and measure this specific gap, you guys are able to see this is a lot more than 40 pips. This is about 58 pips from this bottom of the body to the top of the body. That specific space is give or take about 58 pips. In smart money concepts, we actually have an entry model that is called a vacuum block. You're able to use this entry model to be able to enter in buys and to be able to enter in sells. So if you see this gap and you're wondering to yourself, what do I do? How do I trade this? Is this tradable? Is this something I can make money on? Should I leave it alone? Should I wait? Well, through this specific entry model, all you're going to simply do is you're going to grab your fib. And when you grab your fib, you're going to grab the most recent candle from when the gap started to where the gap is actually now, as we just had the 9 p.m. Eastern candle come to a close. You're going to grab the fib and only have the 50% highlighted and annotated. As soon as you have that, you guys are going to grab that fib and go from body to body, and you guys will come to see that the 50%, we are going to note this as the 4-hour vacuum block. And the reason it's a 4-hour vacuum block is very simple, ladies and gentlemen, is because we are on the 4-hour time frame. Hence, every single 4-hour candle is 4 hours. And so it's a 4-hour vacuum block. And what I'm looking for and what this entry model looks for is for price to come down into the 50% of this specific gap, mitigate it, tag the actual 50%, and then go ahead and push away. So as price does start to come down, we are about, let's see, about exactly 30 pips out from the actual buy entry. So what am I expecting for EU? I am expecting EU to come down, close out the gap at about 50%, and I'm going to be looking for potential buys at 104.48. If you guys are trading with me, you do know my entry system is always a constant. There are no variables. So it's always a 20 pip stop loss with take profits in increments of 20. So if I go ahead and put out this risk to reward, what would this look like if I'm looking to go ahead and take these potential buys off of the 4-hour vacuum block entry model? And what can we expect? Well, it's very simple. I'm going to go ahead and come over here. Let this go right here. So I'm expecting EU to come down, close that 50% gap, tag 104.48, just about. That would be my entry for the buys. Again, I would be risking 20 pips. So the risk stop loss would be at 104.28. And then, once we do hit take profit one, you can either decide to close, move stop loss to break even, or hold for further targets. We not only have this set up for Euro USD, but I also do have it for GU. I also have it for AU. AU closed bearish just like Euro USD did, except the gap is maybe not as large. The EU gap from entry to where it's at now is about, what, 30 pips we said? This is about 16. So if you want to take a trade where it's not as risky, and this is the last thing I'll say, and I'll pass it over to Rich, is this. You're probably wondering, well, if the gap happened, if that vacuum block actually ended up taking place for not just one pair, but if it ended up taking place for all 4 different pairs, even 6 because of USD CHF and USD CAD, which one do I take? Here's the deal. If you understand Forex, you understand that different pairs, they move at different speeds. GU and EU, they move a lot quicker than AU and NU, okay? And especially faster than USD CHF, USD CAD. So if you don't really want to risk too much, and maybe not too much is the right word, but if you don't want to play it very aggressive, you can still take the 4-hour vacuum block entry model, but you take it on a slower moving pair. Now, you wouldn't take it for both, because if you take it for both, and let's say price is very aggressive, if you lose on AU, you're going to most likely lose on EU because they are correlating pairs. So if you are going to take it on 2 different pairs, the same move, you're either going to lose both or you're going to win both. So again, the answer to probably your question is, if I want to play it aggressive, I would take it on EU GU and get a faster, a quicker risk to reward, hitting the take profit a lot quicker. But that depends on your risk appetite. If you want to go ahead and take it on a slower moving pair where it's not as risky, where price does push down on you, it's not going to push down as quick, you can go ahead and take it on AU and NU. And so with that being said, I am looking for those vacuum block entry models. They're probably going to go ahead and start hitting maybe late Tokyo, early London. I won't set a pending order because I like to be awake. But with that being said, that's what I'm looking for these pairs off rip to go ahead and start off the week. With that being said, I'll go ahead and pass it right back to Rich.
Fire, bro. Appreciate you, dude. As you guys can see, John is very well versed in the smart money stuff, which if you guys follow my content as well as John Leal and some of the other, traders as well that we have in the platform. It is definitely, one way of seeing the markets. And if you guys want to actually learn more about some of the vocabulary that John talked about on there, you wanna you looking at the memes? Yeah, he's looking at the memes. You guys can check out his content, his live sessions where he'll spend more time one-on-one with you guys, addressing those questions, really just making sure you understand the concepts and why he uses them in his trading. Okay. Now, really quickly, I know that we're going to talk about gold, NAS. I want to talk about crypto really fast because obviously trending topic, money is being made. And I want to give a special shout out because I see him in here. We got Armin in the building. If you guys have been making some money, yeah, he's throwing up the peace sign. Let's go. If I see you, I'm going to shout you out, bro. But guys, please show some love to Armin in the chat if you guys have made some money. And if you haven't, it's because you're not paying attention to the guy. And that is totally your fault. The guy has been giving crypto play since crypto was quote unquote dead. So y'all please make sure to tap into Armin and everything that he's doing with altcoins, all type of stuff, meme coins. He's really giving us the scoop on everything. So appreciate you and everything you do too, bro. Would love to have you on one of these Sunday calls for sure. But I know you're a very busy guy. This guy's doing a lot of great things out there. But with that said, I want to talk about cryptos, man. Brent had given you guys a really nasty play on Sunday Market Outlook for the free, even for people not in akashx. So I don't know if you want to talk about that, bro, or anything on the crypto side.
Really, just what I said at the beginning, right? Let's pay attention right now for Black Friday. Let's see if we have that typical year after year dip at Black Friday and just get ready. The big thing about Bitcoin is that obviously it raises, it has to correct. When it corrects and starts stabilizing and it drops in a sense, that's when altcoins kick in even harder. And I know Armin is huge on altcoins, right? So it's altcoin season more than anything. I've said this every single call we talk about crypto. I could give two of that for BTC. You guys know that. I've always said that. I want altcoins that have utility, and that's why we took ADA, right? We took ADA and
nasty move, bro.
30%. It's something that if you hold in long term, if everything plays out correctly, it'll be a utility coin. So same thing. The biggest one that I'm waiting on is XLM pullback because again, I think it still has a bunch of room and it has that push, but it get a nice little pullback. And the one that I've always held for the last 3 years that I keep on holding and just dollar cost averaging more and more, Chainlink. Those are like my things that I always look at. And then there's really good ones, like I'm not sponsoring or whatever, saying anything. I have nothing to do with Coinbase, right? But there's certain wallets out there that, for example, with Cosmos, forever Cosmos was giving you like a 17 point something return if you held it there. So it's like there's a lot of good altcoins that actually give you returns on certain wallets that you could just let it and it just builds up even for you without doing anything, right? But that's it for the crypto side for me.
Awesome, bro. Appreciate it. So yeah, guys, we talked about, well, Brent talked about it, right? For ADA, those 35, I think it was what, 30 to 40. It was basically that 30 to 40 cent range. Had hit almost $1.20. So those 3-4x returns is just silly. And again, between Armin, between Anointed, between even the guys that aren't listed as crypto educators, but that just understand the cycles, have been in the space for half a decade plus. Like we've seen, the boom and busts and, all these seasons of altcoins and whatever. So you guys have been definitely getting the scoop. I think a lot of people, if you haven't been taking advantage of crypto, is because you've just been in the trance of learning funded accounts and passing your phases and just getting your TradexMastery payouts. Like I know it's a lot to learn at once, right? So I'm not trying to overload you guys, but here's the thing, man. When it comes to purchasing cryptos, right? It's not the same as day trading, guys. It's not the same where you have to be managing a position and moving your stop loss and doing this and that. With these plays, as you can see, even with the ADA play that Brent gave, it actually took a long time. I think we actually initially you got like a pump and then it retraced, right? So like basically there was weeks. It was weeks of time, weeks. It literally takes, I don't know, what, 5-10 minutes, Brent, for you to buy a coin, maybe less.
Yeah,
I'm saying if you're really slow, like if you're really
oh,
slow,
yeah. If you're really slow, like literally you have to just go to where it says search and then type it down. And then if you can't figure out what the
yeah.
letter D is, letter A is, then yeah, it can take a little bit, right? But literally it's just buy how much you want to buy, confirm, that's it. Done.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, if you are literally the most untech savvy person in the world that just cannot do it, it will maybe take you 48 hours to figure it out. And that's like still a week and like 5 days extra of time that Brent gave you just to get into this one play alone. So, guys, we always talk about paradigms, we talk about mindset, we talk about limiting beliefs when it comes to like, your life and where you think you can go. But there's so many limiting beliefs that people have about crypto or about just doing a different style of investing or trading because you just have never done it before. Guys, I'm sorry, but you just cannot afford to miss this. Like payouts are cool, prop firms are great, but the way that you're seeing like these jumps in people's incomes, like big jumps, is coming from putting your money in the right place at the right time. And crypto obviously has like the multiplier, the exponential effect that no other, industry right now, whether you're trading, even if you're trading gold, even if you're trading the stock market, like it's just not happening, right? So just please make sure you guys are taking advantage of it. I mean, even me with XRP, and XRP is like a joke of the industry for a lot of people, has been making money. So if XRP is making people money, like I mean, you already know it's serious right now. So
Bro,
uh,
let me add something to that really quick. So when this whole Bitcoin pump happened, I saw somebody posting Doge, and I was like, "Come on, don't start with the Doge meme again, right?" And I was like, "Let me look at this wallet. I swear I had some crap on Robinhood, and I don't do nothing on Robinhood. It was just years ago when like Robinhood was the only thing out there. I look in there, I had like $700 on Doge. I was like, hell yeah!" I cashed out that right away. I looked into it, and I paid like $50 like 3 years ago. Like, bro, like there's even like literally like meme coins like that, right? That right now it's just crazy on the pump that's happening.
yep. Yeah, my dad, I called my dad like a couple days ago. And I knew that like I had helped him during the last crypto cycle and stuff like that. And then obviously we cashed out right before like the crypto winter that lasted like a whole year or two. And I wasn't sure if he had anything, and he actually was holding Doge. And I think he told me he got in at like 12 cents. Yeah, I think like you see, he was like at 12 cents like over here. And he literally sat and waited through all of this and just left it there. And basically, I think he's up like multiple four figures. And like he just hasn't touched it at all. Like it's just sitting there. So obviously, some people say, like, oh, well, it's only a couple $1,000s in 2 years. Well, yeah, of course. I mean, he didn't invest a lot, but to go take $1,000 to five and forgot you even had that money there, it's a pretty nice thing to wake up to one day for Christmas time. You know what I'm saying? So that's all we're trying to say, guys. If you have sizable capital, this is generational wealth building at the highest speed. And even if you don't, this is the way for you to start making those 1 to 2, those 2 to 4s, those 4 to 8s, those 8 to 16,000 dollar flips that start, accelerating, your life. And, really quickly, because man, we talk about gold, NAS all the time, but like we have to talk about crypto for a little bit here because you guys got to understand, man, like a lot of people, I didn't take having capital that serious because especially with the whole prop firm mindset that you could just get capital like crazy for trading without even needing a lot of money. But when it comes to crypto, you really, if you've never been the type to save your money, or you just have the limiting beliefs that, oh, I don't make enough money to save money, dude, that's so BS. Like I learned the hard way a couple years ago when I went through like I had like a pump in life and then I had a dump in life, right? And I had to learn in the low point to start saving, to be able not to save the money, but to actually have capital for when the opportunities come, man. So if you guys are doing anything with your payouts, if you guys are doing anything with your residuals, it's gotta be saving and dumping into cryptos, man. Again, we're not financial advisors. This is not financial advice. I worked in banking for almost a decade. I've seen that over 70% of people in the world, like they literally can't or won't save for whatever reason. And it's because you haven't learned the law of paying yourself first. We pay our bills, we pay our taxes, we pay everything first except ourselves. And the minute you have that paradigm shift of paying yourself first so that you can have something to play with and start scaling in the markets, you're going to be stuck in a cycle, man. I'm going to be honest with you. Like it's just it's just the reality. Like the system is not built for you to win, guys. It's really not. if you're gonna keep working harder to get yourself out of where you're at, or if you just want to elevate even more, it's not gonna come from working harder. It's gonna come from seizing opportunities. But you can't seize opportunities if you didn't prepare yourself in the winters. So everybody wants to talk about crypto now. Everybody wants to buy it now. But we're talking about cashing out right now. We're talking about finally seeing the profits rolling in now, not getting in now. So I'm not saying you can't get in now. There's certain plays you can. But what I'm saying is, you have to figure out, I don't know what you got to do, but there are people in this platform that have come in 90 days ago and have already made multiple 5 figures just from building the akashx platform as affiliates. You guys know who they are. Shout out to Joey Wilson and his team, right? Whether you're on here or not, you guys are seeing people that came in here less than 90 days ago that saw, yo, akashx wins, bro. Like, akashx gets people paid. Like, we have results. It's undisputed. So if you're not sharing the business and hitting ranks and finding any way to squeeze as much money out of this opportunity to dump into crypto right now, you're just not serious about leveling up as much as you probably can be. Like, and it's okay if you're happy where you're at. It's not for me to tell you anything, but like, if you genuinely want to level up and you're not doing everything in your power to take advantage of the Black Friday sale, to pass your prop firms, to share this business and at least go 5K. Forget 3 and free. If you keep thinking 3 and free, you missed the idea here. Like, 3 and free, guys, it's come on. And I'm not a superstar recruiter. Like, I'm not even top 10 on the leaderboard. I got my like 8-10 referrals right now for the month. Right? So I'm telling you, like, from a 10K rank, about to close in on 25. I know Brent's about to close in on 25. Like, it's all of us right now. Like, if we're not pushing akashx and milking this this compensation plan to be able to like throw the last that we can into this next crypto bull run, you just missed it. You know what I'm saying? So like, just discipline over regret. Okay. So I'm gonna stop my rant, but like, it had to be said. All right. Let's talk about gold here. Wow, man, what could we say about gold? So, obviously Bitcoin has been catching a lot of people's attention and stuff. So gold gold went from the family favorite to like the thing of the past. Isn't that hilarious, bro? I mean, not completely, but you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people just kind of, it's not the same anymore with gold, right?
Yeah, it's a big
But
difference.
I
That's all.
mean, when we talk about liquidity and stuff like that, this is why I love trading liquidity. And we talked about this, like, the market's always going to seek wherever the money's at, right? And we literally talked about this. You can go back on the recordings whenever we were here. This is the 13th. Go back to Sunday the 10th, and we were like around here. Sunday the 10th. And we were talking about gold having this big drop. We had just taken out these lows. And if we were going to come lower, it was going to be to this level. I believe this is the session with Mikey. I believe this is the recording that we had Michael Ramesh. And we talked about if we grab this liquidity and start tapping into this level, that we'd probably see some really big bullish moves. Again, I'm not actively trading gold, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, look at me, I predicted it, right? At the end of the day, I didn't send the alert, so I'm not going to take credit. But I did let you guys know that whenever it comes to gold, just because we were on this big pullback, don't forget that we've been on this massive bull run overall. And so whenever we do get these big drops, these are big opportunities for reversals, especially after liquidity is grabbed and you start looking at smaller time frames. Now, we've officially seen that we kind of started shifting up above this last supply zone right here, or order block, whatever you want to call it. So I think right now, from higher time frame perspective, we're going to really find our footing in this zone. This is going to be an important zone if you're going to trade gold. I think personally, we'll see gold kind of play a little bit like this and then recover and keep working its way to a new all-time high before it's all said and done, personally. But we would have to see this kind of happening first, because if that scenario is not kind of playing out, then, this will probably be where we grab this high and then we start coming here. And if we start breaking below this, then I'd definitely be looking more to take out a new low. But I just don't see it, man. I see that we're clearly shifting above this. And so at that point, I'd see more of this scenario taking place. But again, we have so many freaking great educators when it comes to gold, whether you scalp it, whether you trend trade it long term, whatever it is. There's definitely, going to be some moves that you're going to see to end the year for gold. So my stuff is really more of a higher time frame narrative type of analysis that I'll do for you, just because, again, I'm not in the trenches with gold like that no more, so I'm not gonna, pretend to be. So I'll let Brent, give his thoughts here on gold. Brent, I don't know if you want to share your screen or what you want to do.
Yeah, I can share screen. And
Okay.
if you want to make sure we cut time, I could roll it right into NAS, and then you could wrap up on that second if you want to, just so we could.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool.
Cool. So gold over here, October, beautiful. Love you, gold. November, who you are. I don't know who you became. That's pretty much has been the move with gold for me. We've been able to catch some. Today I called a tap to trade, was able to catch 30 pips. It was great. But I really need gold right now. And I if you're in tap to trades right now, I know there's some buys, so I don't send you bad juju or anything like that. Hopefully it comes up for your TPs and then it does the following. I would really like gold for it to continue its drop. It opened obviously and respected, right? Beautiful, respected that high. Then from there, which was a good number to respect to, right? 2720, not a full institutional, but it was still a pretty good number, right? Beautiful rally, beautiful retest right there where it needs to be at. Now I would love this to continue dropping, respect this 2700 to continue that institutional number, come down, respect that 2680-ish, somewhere around that ballpark, and then just drop and continue hitting these levels, right? Continue hitting all of these levels that it needs to at least to come back to this 2500. I would love that for that to happen. I wanted it to happen here. Obviously it didn't, and it came back to take this. This was probably the last good run that we had with gold. I called this, I think, on a live session. It was the last good one. No, I called it on a Sunday Outlook, actually. This was one I called on a Sunday Outlook. It was the last good run that we had. We had little runs, but nothing really big since then. So hopefully now we actually see that drop. Again, I want it to go up for you guys to hit your TP because I know a few of you guys are in buys. And if it continues going up, cool, so be it. Then it'll just continue rallying up and up and up and higher, and maybe come back and test this high again one more time, and then get ready towards the week to have those corrections when we have those sets of news and Black Fridays and all that good stuff, right? So it could still go up. It's kind of in the middle, but I do feel pretty strongly here that it is starting to form that downtrend just because of the way how we opened. But again, now we have to fight with this and an institutional number for it to break, retest, and then drop. That's what I have for gold. I will scout the hell out of it as always. I could care less where it goes overall, but that's pretty much the move there. NAS, shout out to Rich. Call out a trade already. I like it. Obviously, we're battling with it a lot right now, but I still like it overall. Now, with NAS, I have that one a little bit analyzed more, right? We had a big opening gap. I mean, what was it, like 1,000 pips? Like, that's crazy. Typically on a Sunday, there's a little bit of a gap and it'll retrace right to it. So this right here is volume that needs to be filled out. There's gaps. They're called, I call them volume gaps. I know there's different names, especially in the smart money side of things, but I call them volume gaps. They're little pockets, right? Little gaps that need to be filled. So we need NAS to come down and fill it. Well, the cool thing is that when it fills that, it's going to fill it at the previous day high. So I'm looking right for that first number of 2780. Let it break that again and come back down to the previous day low around that 2630. Let it break that again, come down, and then come down to ultimately. I would love with the news, Black Friday, everything. I would love that by the end of the week, NASA's at that 2500-ish. It's a lot to ask for, I know, but it would be amazing. At least give me 2500-ish, but I would love, this is asking a lot. I would love to see NAS all the way down to that 19,650-ish. That's far. I know it's far, but it's NAS, guys. It could happen with the news that we have, everything that we going on. It could definitely happen. For the high, it's going to be boring as hell. So if this goes up, sure, it'll go up to 2100, super institutional. It'll probably bounce right off of it again. And if it does, we might get down to the 21,280. And then we're back at all-time highs. We have those little squiggles, like pretty much what this happened right here. This is boring. And this happened through all day Thursday. Like this was boring. And I don't want this whole week to be like that. If it goes up, then that's most likely what will be all week. I do not want that. So I would love for NAS to continue going down, hit all TPs with Rich, and just retrace, come back down, retrace, come back down, and just have an entire, what we had pretty much here, right? Have that replicated here and have it come all love to see this number. But that's it for me for NAS. We shall scalp it as every single day and get to it.
For sure, bro. Appreciate you, dude. I'll keep mine very straight to the point because I want to have John say some final words as well before we get out of here. But yeah, I mean, you guys know I sent the alert. You guys that follow me know my strategy. So this trade, obviously, couple things. Number one, I was definitely trying to take advantage of this gap that Brent was talking about. Now, I am very familiar that whenever we get that first initial drop, it's usually the fake drop. Was hoping on that not being the case. Obviously, last week we had undefeated week. Things were going really well. So I figured we have the padding to be able to get into a trade like this. I think at worst, we should see drops. If we don't get it now, what's going to probably end up happening is that we'll get my type of like fake out of the high type play where we reject and then start coming down. So what I'm hoping for is that we basically just don't get tagged out of this trade. I think the stop loss is decent where we might be able to survive it. If this ends up being the Asia high and low, then we have this wiggle room right here for price to even come above Asia high and reject. So I'm still feeling okay about the trade. At the end of the day, whenever I pull the trigger on anything, I've already accepted the risk and let it play out. It's not my signature setup. So end of the day, I can't even really be even more upset than usual, even if I wanted to, because again, it's not my signature setup. So if anything, it's a lesson to everybody. Like, and again, we haven't hit stop loss. We could win the trade. I'm not saying that, but I know why I stick to my signature setups. You know, I don't like being in drawdown. I don't like sitting in a trade, especially on a Sunday night. So was it a bad trade? Maybe a little bit, but I think overall the probabilities of us coming into here are very high, and that was the reason for me wanting to pull it in the first place. Because I think that, you know, two scenarios like Brent said really quickly, and then we're out of here, is there's a higher chance just following the trend that we'll respect this area overall. So I'm looking for just TP2. I don't think we'll get to TP3 if we respect this area, where we might get some rejections and continue higher. But just like Brent said, if we do get to that area and slightly reject and then end up breaking below that, I think that sets us off for a big chain reaction to come lower and come grab all this liquidity. So it's going to be one of the two. You know, obviously it would be really nice to hit a home run to come out the gate. We might have just pulled the trigger a slight bit earlier than where we had to. That's my only thing. I'm very confident in sells in this general vicinity. I just don't know if the timing and the exact entry were as ideal as they could possibly be. But that's why we put the risk on and we find out. And at the end of the day, if we do get tagged, I'd still be very optimistic to pay attention to this range and look for re-entry opportunities where we can get back the loss and make a profit. So we'll see how it goes, but that's very simply put. Last thing I'll talk about as an update super fast is Peloton. I've been talking to you guys about Peloton for a while. You know, the crypto plays are having the big gains, but for some reason I found this crazy little stock play and it's been doing really well from the 350 entry that we've been talking about for a long time. We're like basically almost triple now. So that was crazy. And we talked about this during the free trial as well. If you guys were on the free trial live sessions, that $7 to $8 range was not a bad entry. We're basically back at 10 now. So even if you got in at 7 or 8, there's already money being made at 10. And if you guys recall, the long-term play with Peloton during this holiday season and next year is a brand recovery during the holidays where we can potentially see this thing get back up into the 50 to 70 range. And that's going to be a 10 to 20x play, which is crazy for a stock. At least in my experience, I'm not a stock trading professional guy, so I'm not going to pretend like I do that on the daily, but this has been a play that I've been keeping up with and letting you guys know what's up so you guys know what's going on. But yeah, man, that's really it. We talked a little bit about all types of markets in just an hour. So we were basically sticking to schedule, which is good to see. So I appreciate everybody who got on here and stayed on here the whole time. We hit a record today, bro. We hit 80 plus on the Sunday Market Outlook call. So we've never had 80 plus on the call. I think it's because they heard John was coming. So you got to give John his flowers. He's the one that pushed us to 80.